Hey Cancer, how are you? It's me, Lauren, the Untitled Tarot. Welcome. We've moved upstairs from the basement. My guides told me I had to get out of the basement for a little bit, so we've risen. We're like the Jeffersons. We're moving on up. I actually did your reading yesterday, and then I was laying in bed last night, and my guides told me to do your reading again, which I was a little offended by. I was like, but I thought that Cancer reading was pretty good. I actually tried to upload it and the upload failed, which is very unusual. I was like, I thought there was something in that reading. And they were like, there was something in that reading, but we would like you to do it again. So, be it from me to argue with the universe. So I redid your reading today. I actually felt very drawn to use a different deck than I used for you yesterday. And there are some similar themes, which is cool, but the way it played out was a little bit different. Also, normally I chop up the cards live in action for you. But I was doing your pre-shuffle and the same cards kept flying out. So I just threw them out on the table and I started looking at them and I like fell into the storyline, and next thing I knew I was like pulling out, I just pulled out your story because I just couldn't stop. It was so fascinating. I was like, what's gonna happen next, Cancer? What's gonna happen next? So let's see. I'm gonna let you know what's happening. Let's find out. So the first card, I have like a lot out here. I feel like I have to move them. It's like, oh my God. Another Cancer. 2 Cancer readings in 2 days. I feel like DJ Khaled. Another one. All right. First out, you got the Emperor. Look at you. Strong, in control, Aries energy. It's funny. This card for me today, I'm being more than anything else, very much drawn to the fact that there is this smoke, this air, this light kind of coming from the sky onto his chest piece, right? The next card you have out is the 9 of Swords. And the card you got out immediately after that was Death and Rebirth. Oh, should I do it like this? Is this how you flip it and reverse it? This way. See? So on one side, there's you, Cancer. You're sitting here as the Emperor. At least, and this energies could be vice versa or flip, but as far as this reading is concerned, I'm going to consider my Cancerians the Emperor, right? And then you have this 9 of Swords. So being stuck in your head, stress, self-defeating thoughts, the whole 9, the whole kit caboodle. And then on the other side, you have this death and rebirth process. So these 3 cards flew out for me. And I was thinking about, wow, like how it felt as though like you were trying to figure out how to get to the other side, like how to get to this death and rebirth process, like how to get to the beginning of this cycle. And looking at it, oh, actually, how's it on my table? Yeah, on my table it's like this. I'm sorry. That you're actually looking at like all of the strife, almost in the sense that, you know, in order to facilitate a cycle change for yourself, that you are gonna have to go through it. Like you're gonna have to go through some 9 of Swords energy. And this is almost like Source trying to get you to like show you how to move your piece across the board to get to the other side here, but you almost being like paralyzed, because I notice how it's like it's trying to move your hand, but it in no way covers your body. So it's like you're almost like paralyzed in this 9 of Swords energy, but Source is trying to get you to go because there's a death and rebirth process that's waiting for you. So I was looking at that, right? And I was like, okay, well, you know, everybody's going through cycle changes right now. So, you know, no big, it happens, okay. The next card that flew out was the 2 of Wands, right? So this is usually about kind of like making some kind of a decision, usually of like a passionate nature, like which way should I go, ba 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 ba. And I put it down on the table and I'm looking at it and I'm going, excuse me. I'm going, is this Cancer trying to work their way through this process to get to a rebirth in order to sit at the 2 of Wands? And I was like, is this Cancer like feeling maybe a little defensive or trying to decide like which way to go after this rebirth? And I kept looking and I kept looking at it and I realized, no, that's a whole ass other person. This is a whole other person. I don't want to move. You know what? I'm going to just do something strange. Let's move the camera. Come here. Come with me. Let's travel. Look. Can you see that? Kinda. It's almost like this is you, Cancer, and you're looking all the way over here at someone else. Might be somebody younger than you, maybe just somebody like less experienced. I mean, you are the Emperor. So other than what, the freaking Magician, like who has more experience than you? no body, right? So it's like you're over here looking at this person that seems as though they've already kind of gone through this death and rebirth process. It seems a little bit, and they're almost like on the lookout. You're looking at them, but they're on the lookout for something else. They've already gone through this process, and it almost seems like, I don't know if you want to catch up to this person, or if you're just, it almost just seems like a fascination, like a pure curiosity. Like, how the hell did they get through that? Like, they with nothing. Like, they're not an emperor, it's not an empress, it's not a queen, it's not a knight. It's just like this girl with 2 wands, and she's not even holding one. She's both of them. She's only holding one. Had this one little girl with this one little stick get all the way through this. It's like you're absolutely fascinated by it. We're coming back. We're coming back. It's like live action. Wow. It's exciting, Cancer. Woo! All right. Next out, right? This is why I couldn't stop to turn the camera on, because I was like, this story is unfolding like magic. Next out, you got the Magician, right? The Magician, followed up by the 2 of Cups in reverse. So I was like, oh no. But then immediately followed up by the 10 of Cups, right? So I was like, all right, is Cancer trying to manifest, like revive some kind of, I was like, what is going on here? Like, I don't understand, because I was like, there's something missing between you not either starting this death process or being hesitant to start this death process, or having a hard time in the beginning of this death process, and you looking at this person who seems very unexperienced, already having gone through it. And then next thing you know, there's fucking magic and I'm like, where the hell? There's a discrepancy there. Like, there has to be a bridge between the two. There has to be a bridge between the two. And then I looked at this two of Cups in reverse, and I looked at it in conjunction with the Magician card, and then I moved it like this. And it's very odd, but I moved it like this, and it almost felt as though there was like almost like an infinity symbol. There was like a wholeness between what the Magician was trying to alchemize, and though it seems like these cups are overturned, like being spelt out, like no love, no love, it almost seems like the Magician is pouring this alchemy, this magic, this manifestation out, almost like into these bowls, and the bowls are raining down onto these 2 polarities to like combine them. And I was like, okay, and so maybe by doing that, you're able to kind of turn this upright, and that's how you get the 10 of Cups, right? I was like, is that it? I was like, no, something else is missing. Like, there's something missing here. And I look back at this girl, and then I moved the cards, because this was technically a second line, right? So then I moved them all into 1 line. A little bit kind of like that. And then I saw it. So you're over here, maybe in the process of a death and rebirth cycle. Maybe you haven't started it yet. Maybe you're in the thick of it, but it's like from a distance, you're witnessing somebody else. This could be like somebody on social media, one of your friends. We're all quarantined right now, so everybody's also like very separated. But this is you from some kind of distance watching this person, a little bit like amazed, like, how are they doing that? And this chick, whoever, you know, gender doesn't matter here, is like looking out. And I was like, what is she looking out for? Remember how I said in the beginning, it was like, she's waiting for something. It's like, she's looking out for something. Like, what is it? What is it? And it's like this magic. She's trying to like create this magic, like, waiting for this magic to come in. And then I'm looking at it, and I hear like, all in. And I look back at these cards. I'm just like talking to you about my process of like how this happens for me, like the conversations that I have with spirit to get the answers that I need. And then I looked at this again, and it almost looked like this Magician, and like these were chips, and he was like pushing them all in, like all the chips in, right? It's like a big bet, you know, but like fortune favors the bold, like big risks, big reward. And I'm looking at this girl, and I'm looking back at you, and I'm like, you're looking at somebody, whether it's somebody in social media, one of your friends, a family member, a partner, like whoever it is in your life, and you're looking at this person who seems like they don't have anything, or like they shouldn't have the reserves in which they do, and you're watching them like create all of this magic, like just go balls deep in something, just like all the chips on the table. I'm almost getting, I don't know if you guys know that movie Rounders with Matt Damon and Edward Norton, and it's like the guy blows all of his money gambling, like he's a professional poker player, and then he's just got like one last game, and it's like everything's riding on this bet, and he has nothing. It's like all his bet is all he has to his name, and it's like fuck it. And he just goes all in, and he ends up winning. Spoiler alert, I'm sorry. And like that's awesome, but it's like you're almost looking at us in astonishment at this person, like how did they just go all in? It's almost like how do they feel so certain without any certainty? It's like you're very much amazed by it. It's like such a big risk. You're like, I didn't even know that they had that much to risk. But I think that there's something in that this person that you're like admiring or you're just very like curious about in general, it's the fact that like there is like a nothing to lose aspect about it. That's why they're all in. It's very interesting. Moving on. Yes, here we go. So now the next question I asked the universe, I was like, well, okay, so you're here and you're watching this person do this. You're a little bit amazed. This person, I think, is also maybe a little bit amazed that they've been so far been able to pull off what they've been pulling off. Like, how has this person gotten through the Nine of Swords, the Death and Rebirth, the Magician, trying to, oh, when I put this back on the table, I put it back down upright. That's interesting that I did that. As doing all this stuff with like one little stick. Like, how are they doing that? It's like, that's what I feel like from this energy. It's like you're sitting here and you're like trying to figure out like how they did it. And maybe that's what's putting you, because maybe you just want to replicate it. You know, maybe you're like, that's cool. Like, that seems like something I would be interested in. Or how do I do it? How did they do it? Maybe that's got you in some kind of conflict. Like, I can't figure it out. Like, I can't figure out, like, what? And the next card that came out, and I was like, well, what is the bridge in between these? And the Knight of Swords came out. Or the King of Swords, I'm sorry. The King of Swords came out. And I'm looking at this King of Swords, and I'm looking at this King of Swords. I'm like, what is he, you know, controlling, cutting stuff out? Like, what do you got to do? Like, what do you got to do, Cancer, to, like, replicate this? Like, the recipe. And I'm looking at this. I'm like, the Emperor and the King of Swords, these are both, like, controlling energies. And that's not always bad. They're also very, like, calculating. They're very well planned out. You know, like, these are really great energies. But especially just the two of these together, these are very controlling energies. It's almost like you're trying to logically, like, think about how this person did whatever they did. But I almost feel like Source is coming in saying, if you want to figure out how they did what they did, you got to get your hands dirty, right? Because like it's only a notch in between a king and an emperor, right? And these are both very controlling energies. But the difference is like he's dressed pretty nicely. Like he's obviously inside some kind of castle. He's obviously got some kind of like fancy throne like thing going on. This guy, he's up in the mountains, right? He had to climb all the way up there. He's got his boots tied on. He's got his sleeves rolled up. He's got this crow intuition. He's got bats, being able to see in the dark without being able to have all the details, the wisdom of this owl. He's got a sword. There's like, he's literally climbed on top of a mountain. You can see the peaks and everything. You can see the flowers. It's almost a sense of like, Source is saying is like, if you want to know how they did it, you can sit here on your throne all day, but you're never going to figure it out. Because the magic is like in the alchemy. You got to get your hands dirty. You got to climb up there yourself to find out. So I was like, oh shit, okay. Cancer's got homework, cool. And I was like, well, how are they going to do that? Next card out, Strength. Source is telling you that you're going to need to be strong throughout this process because it is a cycle. It is like a cycle, death and rebirth process. We go through it all the time, all of us with these cycles. But you're going to need to be strong. Next out, Three of Swords. And then next out, you have the Six of Pentacles. So what this is telling me, what I really got was that the process of getting your hands dirty and like doing this kind of by the book, like it's going to be hard. There might be moments where it might be like a little bit heartbreaking. You know, it's like, I'm looking at the Six of Pentacles and I'm almost getting like rock climbing. You know, like put your little foot here, grab your hand here, put your foot there, grab up here, pull, like, you know what I mean? And I look at this girl and I don't necessarily see it as heartbreak necessarily, but I almost see it as like the pain of like, oh my God, like just the actual like energetic, emotional exertion that you have to actually expel in order to pull yourself, to propel yourself where you want to be, get up this mountain, to make this magic happen for yourself. This girl only had one stick. You got a lot more going on over here, so it's, you know. But Source is saying like you're going to need to be strong because this isn't going to be an easy process to climb your way up, to figure out how to get to the top of Everest, right? I'm almost getting, Batman? You know, in Batman, I forget which one it is. Is it like Batman Begins? The one with Bane? And it's like Bane was like a child, you know? Or was it, no, it was that girl. Was it that girl that got out of the thing? But it was like, it was a child that like climbed out of the cave and everybody was like, it was a child. How do they do it? How do they do it? I don't understand. And then you have Batman, who's like this grown ass man, and he's crawling his way up and he's crawling his way up, he's crawling his way up. It's like, how did a child do it? It's impossible. But you get up and you keep going and you keep going and you fall down and you crack your back and you heal up and you go for it and you go for it and you go for it. This is kind of what I feel like this maybe kind of looks like. Looks a little Bruce Wayne-ish. I feel like that's what Source is telling you. Like, You're gonna have to climb up each one of these like wheels yourself. You're gonna climb each spoke yourself, and it's gonna hurt a little. It's not gonna be great, but you're strong, so you can do it. It's not just gonna require like your mental, logical strength. It's also gonna require your physical, emotional, spiritual strength as well. Maybe that's why this girl travels light. Maybe. Or guy, whoever, it doesn't matter. What's this way? Yeah, I went this way. So many cards everywhere. Everywhere. Look at us. Look at us go. Look at us go, guys. And then your next, oh my God. This is so weird. Oh my God. It's like a weird position not sitting at my desk. But next out, you got the King of Cups. Upright, baby. All day. Look at you. Followed up by the Five of Cups. Yeah, the Five of Cups in reverse. And then you have the Six of Swords, right? I have to move all of these because they're driving me crazy. I'm so sorry. OCD is a real thing. In my Vedic chart, I'm a rising Virgo, so OCD. But so these are how these cards came out after all this, right? So you have the King of Cups, the Five of Cups in reverse, the Six of Swords, right? And then you have the Seven of Cups in reverse, and then you have the Six of freaking Wands, baby. So this is what I'm seeing. I'm seeing is that as you're going through this process, as you're rock climbing your way up to the top of Everest, trying to figure out how this girl did it, you're realizing it's like every step you take, every time you get a little bit higher and you grab onto that piece of rock and you propel yourself and it hurts and you scream, but it's like, there's almost like a satisfaction. It's like when you go to the gym and you're all sore and your body like hurts and burns, but it's like a good sore. It's like, because you know that you did something good for yourself, for your soul. And it's like you being at peace with that, being at peace with the process of growing. I think that this whole thing is just like somebody just catching your eye and like inspiring you a little bit. Like, wow, like I didn't think somebody like that could do something like that. So like maybe I could do something like that. Like maybe I could do something totally different, but maybe I could do something. Like how did they do it? All right, well, I guess I have to go through it too. And with this Five of Cups in reverse, this is, like I said, that accepting and having patience with the process and yourself. Being like, I'm not gonna sit here and whine and cry about it because like I have to. Six of Swords. It's like the getaway. It's like the only way out is through. The only way I'm gonna figure out how to do this is by actually doing it, is by walking the walk, by taking the steps. I might not end up with the same wand as this girl, but like, it doesn't matter. Like, follow the blueprint, play by the rules. Stop crying about the process. We're gonna be at peace with it, right? We're gonna get in our boat. The only way out is through. Yeah, we might have some doubts. Yeah, we might have some worries. Yeah, we might have some insecurities. Who doesn't? Such is life. But we're getting in our boat and we're going. The Seven of Cups in reverse. There are no other options. The only way out is through. Growth, expansion, expression, authenticity, they all have to be earned and recognized and put out into the world. They're not just given to you. That's not how it works. Enlightenment, growth, all that. Even accomplishments. Hard work has to go into that. You have to study. You have to show up on time. You have to do a good job. That's the way it goes. You have to play by the rules. There is no choice. The only way out is through. You can't get out of doing the work. Whatever it is for you, whether it's tangible at work, whether it's personal in your relationships, whether it's like your work on yourself and shit you're trying to get through and overcome your own personal demons and battles, there is no other option. The only way out is through. So there's no point in crying about it, right? Absolutely not. Because Cancerians, King of Cups, baby, in your element, accepting the process, being at peace with it. Because you know, Six of Wands, it'll bring you victory. You know, that place of peace inside. You know, if you do the right thing, go through the process. Yes, it will be uncomfortable. Yes, it will be hard. You might have to cut some shit out, but you know it will be victorious for you. And it's interesting because the only other like female dominant, like there's a female in the Three of Cups and over here, but you can't really see their faces. They're all looking down. They're all upset. Maybe this is this girl you're seeing. It's like at the end, almost like you're at peace because you see maybe this girl, she's got one wand, the same damn wand. And she's victorious. You're like, well, you know what? Maybe if they were able to pull it off, I could pull it off too. If they can do it, I can do it. Because it looks like you're starting off with like a lot more reserves. And I love that while like in the beginning of this, you're dressed up, looking nice in your castle, in your throne with your peace, right? And then it's like you're in the thick of it. Like your hands are dirty in the process. Like your boots are tied on, sleeves rolled up, absolutely. But then it's here, it's like you're casual. It's like You untied your boots. You don't need that knife. You don't need that vest. You don't need to be crawling up, putting your hair in a ponytail. Cut the hair off. It's fine. It's relaxed now. We're not fighting the process. We're just letting ourselves flow through it now. Seeing that it can be done. And so you can do it too. You also can be victorious. And that's pretty much what I have for you. Do I want to pull anything else for you? I don't think so. I know this was a little bit different. Normally I don't pull the cards before I film, but it's such an interesting story. I just couldn't help myself. It really is. So let me know how this is playing out for you guys. I would love to know. Thank you so much for letting me do this for you. As we move around my house, each video we're going to film in a different location just to spice it up for quarantine. If you guys need any information, it should all be in the description box. Personals are open. If you want to like and subscribe, or you could do that stuff, or you could not. I'm here. You know where to find me. It's fine. But until next time, Cancer, have fun. Bye.